What's going on, fellas? Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is going to be a little shorter, but still going to bring some pretty powerful, hard-hitting points, okay? So the title of today's video is Life is a University. The world we live in is a school. Every day when we rise in the morning, we are attending class. There is only one class that we are signed up for, and that class is called self-mastery. Within the self-mastery class, we will have thousands and thousands of lessons on different topics, but it's all going to be under the window or the main class, which is our self-mastery. Ultimately, the purpose of this university that we call life is to help us reawaken to our true nature, to help us connect to our soul's purpose, and ultimately awaken to our divine self and reconnecting with God's source energy. In turn, this allows us to pass the class, ultimately breaking us free from the birth and death cycle that we are trapped in, leading to ascension. Okay? So, as you know, a lot of people are aware of, it is a belief that we are in a closed circuit. Okay? We are in the matrix, right? So it's a closed circuit and we are stuck in the cycle of birth and death, right? So we've reincarnated many times so that in one lifetime, we could awaken and break free from this cycle so that we could ascend out of this lower vibration, this lower level, and ascend back to where our souls are from, which is the highest, most powerful energy and godly energy, right? So the same way a regular university functions is the same way Life University functions. You can party, you can dedicate yourself to your studies, you can meet people, right? So I personally didn't go to college, but I'm aware of what goes on at college. And you have the people that just party, you have the nerds that just study, dedicate themselves to their studies. You have a whole plethora of different kinds of people. It's the same in life, right? So the comparison is there. And, you know, I believe personally that we need to enjoy our lives, right? So we obviously have our life's purpose. We have this powerful, purpose that is a part of our soul that we need to be here to do something in this time, whether that's, create something, give something to the world. That is at the forefront. But along the way, you need to enjoy, you need to celebrate, you need to live richly, you need to, be grateful and experience. You want to experience as much of life as possible, right? You should enjoy life and have fun and live it to the fullest. And you should also completely dedicate yourself to your studies, which in this case is self-mastery. When we awaken to this reality, we have already taken the first step. Okay, the first step is becoming aware of what is going on around us. Now we will begin to see everything in our life as a lesson for our own spiritual growth. Okay, a lesson for our own spiritual growth. You stop identifying with good and bad experiences, and you break free from those attachments, ultimately freeing you from the matrix. So, man, I watched a really interesting video from a guy named Dio. He makes great videos on spirituality. I was watching last night, and he was talking about a lot of things, but he was saying how there's certain things in this world and there's certain tools that the matrix uses, the world that the system uses to keep us trapped in these lower vibrations and in ultimately stuck here in the matrix. And there's a lot of different things that are used to do that. And one of the things is identifying with certain emotions, right? So if you get so locked into this is good, this is bad, you are ultimately trapping yourself in this lower state in the matrix, because you're identifying you with your emotions and your body and these things that are rented. You're not identifying with your soul. So it's very clear that this is temporary. This is rented. We were given this, the physical suit, the emotions, the mind, everything, right? Behind all of that is the driver, which is our soul. And when we choose to identify with worldly things like our body and our emotions and all these different things that are in the lower vibration, we are ultimately trapping ourselves in this body. We are creating such a deep attachment to this world, which in turn keeps the cycle going of birth and death. Okay, so it's at the end of the day, there's the duality, I believe, and everything has a duality, right? So there's two sides to the coin. So in our lives, it's important to be 100% fully dedicated, disciplined in our journey of self-mastery, to be fully present, fully absorbed, fully there every day, no matter what. On the other side of the coin, it's also important to understand that you want to be loose and you want to be playful and you want to be enjoying and you want to be having fun, right? So you want to create that harmony between the two, because on one hand they seem separate, but at the end of the day it's all part of the same. So there's a quote that said something along the lines of, do not become serious, because what is serious is dead, it is stiff, it is like the rock in the river, right? So you need to understand the duality of that, and that there's two sides to the coin, right? So you want to know what is going on around us. You want to know that life is the ultimate university, and every morning when we rise, we are starting our day in school, and what we experience in the world, those are our lessons, and we need to understand that. But at the same time, we can't even be absorbed in that. We have to be playful and fun and enjoy, and so it's creating that harmony between the two sides of the spectrum, between the good and the bad, between the dark and the light. Even that is something that we've created, right? So there's no good or bad. Everything just is. I feel like in anything you talk about, there's going to be levels to what you're talking about. And you can only talk about something to the level that you've gone internally, right? So I can only understand something to the level that I've learned to understand myself and the work that I've put in with myself, right? So it's an amazing phenomenon. Even with these videos, one thing I realized about, even for example, the fear of creating the videos, because, what if I'm saying something that, maybe people don't agree with, or I heard something in a I think it was in the comments of a video on that guy Dio's channel. He says something along the lines of, for example, right now I am sharing, I am trying to give, I'm not trying, I am giving to the world knowledge that I have garnered from my experiences in my life, and I am sharing to help people, right? I am sharing currently at the level of my own inner experience. So, right now, when I make these videos and I share with you, I am sharing at the maximum of my current state. Does that make sense? So, in 6 months from now, in 1 year from now, I can be and I will be at a completely different level. So, my videos will be improving. My knowledge of self will be improving. My, everything, the things that I talk about, my understanding will be deeper. And when you understand that, you start to realize like you can't be afraid to create, because you are going to over time improve, and on a deep level you're going to improve everything, even something as simple as how I speak or whatever it is. This is the university. We are learning about ourselves. By doing these videos, I am learning about myself. What's amazing is I can create videos and I can help people. That's my intention. But on the other hand, in a way, these are for myself, right? So it's a way for me to document my own growth, my own experiences. And it's funny because ultimately I realized all these videos I've been making, it's almost as if I'm talking to myself. I'm teaching myself, right? So, I kind of went off on a tangent, but understanding that this world, our life is a university, and there's millions of different things you can think. There's millions of different perspectives, but I really do believe that, having the idea that life is a university and taking everything as a lesson for your spiritual growth, I really do feel that to be the truth. I do feel that everything is a lesson for us to grow, ultimately leading us deeper in ourselves, and how we respond to things are the level that we are inside. And I know, in my own life, I feel the best when I'm in that state where, I don't get thrown off very much, because I do understand that I do know that everything is a lesson. So, like for example, Jocko Willink, he has an idea where he just says good to everything. So, for example, you know, you missed your flight. Good. Now, what are you gonna do about it? It's good. You missed your flight. Maybe you were gonna be sitting next to a bad, a person you don't want to be sitting. Whatever it is, you always say good about everything. If something bad happens, good. That was a lesson. Something good happens, amazing. Something bad happens, good. I was driving on over a mountain a while ago, and it's a huge mountain. It splits between the island I live on, or it splits the island in two that I live on. And it's about an hour drive from one side of the island to the other island, but you have to go, or you can do the long way, but you go through the middle of the island and you climb all the way up to the peak. And then you go back down and then you land in the other side of the island. And I was driving an older car at the time, and I had gotten off work and it was very late, maybe like, I don't even remember, maybe 2 in the morning, 1 or 2 in the morning. And I was climbing up, and all of a sudden the car just shut off. It stopped working. I know why now, but it stopped working. And this road, it's not like anybody's on it at 1 in the morning. It's pitch black. The stars are out. It's cold, and I just remember even in that moment, I had no idea what I was going to do. I was stranded there. I didn't have any warm clothes in my car. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just was thinking, okay, maybe I'll have to sleep here. And it was a little intimidating. I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? But I remember even in that moment, I had that inner trust. I knew no matter what, everything was going to work out. I was not able to head back home. That's fine. Readjust and understand that everything is going to be okay. Everything is for my own good. So that happened, and I eventually, a truck came by, and I talked with them a bit, and they were super cool, super helpful, and he gave me a ride all the way. I was sitting in the back of the truck, in the bed of the truck, looking around. The stars were just lighting up the sky. It's pitch black, and you see all these stars. I was just freezing cold. It was like 30, 40 degrees up there. And I just remember feeling kind of grateful. And it just makes you realize, man, everything happens for a reason. We don't know, like at the time, I didn't know what the reason was, and it's just having that trust, that faith ultimately that faith in God and in yourself, to know that everything happens for you instead of against you. So that's kind of the idea too, as far as the university. Everything in life happens for you so that you can grow and become the best version of yourself. It's not that, it's so easy to take a victim mentality and assume things are happening against you and to you, but ultimately these things are happening, or whatever it is in your life is happening to teach you certain things that you need to learn, or maybe you know already, but you haven't fixed those things. And so it's reoccurring until you pass that quiz or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that's really it ultimately. I really like this idea that life is a university. It's the greatest school, the greatest teacher. And I was thinking of a few different ideas for the name of the class, the main class we are in life. And I ultimately settled with self-mastery. And again, just like that, there's levels to that. When I say self-mastery for this situation, I don't mean getting a better haircut or becoming more literate, reading more. That's one level. Ultimately, the highest level is reawakening to yourself, to your soul, and allowing your soul to flow freely and to come out, and connecting so deeply with it that there's no discrepancies, and you just radiate that inner light. You radiate from the soul. And I heard something really interesting yesterday too from one of the videos from that guy Dio. He said something interesting, how love and compassion, it doesn't come from the heart. The heart is just a part of the physical body. It comes from the soul. And there's a lot to be talked about with that. I just thought that was very interesting, that love and that energy comes from the soul and not the heart. I don't know, that's kind of random and on a tangent, but so yeah, reconnecting with ourselves, with God inside of us, with our soul, and ultimately ascending to the higher realms, to ultimately God. And everything we take in our day-to-day is a lesson for us to take in and improve on and learn from, so that we can be the best versions of ourselves, and we're not stuck in this low vibration identifying with material things, as in our body, our emotions. And ultimately there is the duality. So not identifying with your emotions, not identifying with your body, on the same page, on the other side of the coin, loving your body, loving yourself, and ultimately just awakening to self, to your soul, and reconnecting with that. That is the class that we are all in. The class is self mastery. We are all in Life University. Enjoy it. Live it fully to the extreme. Live it. Be present. Take everything as a lesson, right? Take everything as a lesson for your highest good. That is how you awaken. That is how you master yourself. Take everything as a lesson for your highest good. Ultimately, we are here to learn, to experience, to give what we've been given, to pour that into the world, and to connect with God. And that is it, guys. So life is the greatest university, and we are here to learn and awaken to our true selves and to the truth. So thank you guys so much. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I know it's a little shorter, and definitely I'm on a, I've been going off on tangents, and I'm learning, right? I'm learning how to speak to a camera. I'm learning how to get my thoughts out. I'm learning how to articulate myself better. We are all learning in this university of life. Okay? Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.